What is up guys, it's Food and That coming at you with a brand new video. Today we are going to be making fish and chips, an English classic, a UK classic, traditional dish, I believe the national dish of the United Kingdom too. Really tasty, a bit fatty, but hey, why not? Once in a while, you know, push the boat out a little bit. And it's not takeaway, we're making it ourselves, so try and make it a little bit more healthy. We're in control of how much oil, how much salt, etc. So here we've got fish. This fish is tilapia. It's not cod. Normally you do fish and chips with like cod or some other white fish like that. Tilapia is a white fish, but it's just a bit cheaper. Cod at the moment is kind of expensive, and me personally, when it leaves the fryer, I always find that it's a bit chewy like cod. It's never that soft or flaky. So this is like super flaky, super soft, and it's affordable for me and probably you guys at home. So this is 2 fillets and I've just split it into 4. Here just frozen peas will do. We're going to be making some peas like mushy, you can semi-mushy peas with some mint, some butter, salt, pepper, super simple. We're going to be making a beer batter for the fish. You can use whatever beer you want. If it's better, it's a full calorie beer, just because you want a bit more sugar to get the batter the way you want it. I find, like in my experience, I've used lighter beers and it doesn't really come out the same. We're going to be making some fries. I'm going to cut them quite thin because me personally, I don't like the kind of chunky chip shop chips. I prefer like McDonald's style chips or fries. We're just going to be using 2 potatoes. These are quite big, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know what style of potato they are, but they're white on the inside and they're quite starchy. So if you know, let me know. They're not waxy, they're starchy. The beer, flour and egg are for the batter, and then this is just paprika, salt, tiny bit of cayenne, and black pepper, mainly for the colour, but it adds a little bit of flavour to the batter. So yeah, let's get into it. We're going to start with the fries, okay? So with the potatoes, we're just going to kind of flip it on its side, cut it like this, quite thin. Like, this is how thin you want it. If you want it thicker, obviously you cut it thicker, but the thinner it is, the crispier it's going to get and the quicker it's going to cook. And I kind of want this size. You know, like McDonald's or something like that. So I'm just going to quickly show you all of these and then we're going to put them in the fryer. Okay, so here's all our fries. As you can see, they're quite uniform. This is probably enough to feed 2 people, but I'm a big guy, so I don't know, I might end up eating all of these, I'm not sure. Or maybe just half and then have other half tomorrow or something. So these fries still have the starch on them, as you can see. And I'm not going to wash it off, I'm just going to chuck it in because I can't be arsed. And I like it when the starch gets all like crispy and stuff. So we've just got some hot oil heating in a saucepan, in a small saucepan, and I don't have a thermometer, right? So how do I know if the oil is ready? Well, I'm gonna do a little test. Okay, so the oil's ready. So I'm gonna chuck in, and I'm gonna try and be safe. I'm gonna use my trusty knife. I'm gonna chuck in some of the potatoes, some of the fry. You don't want to overcrowd the pan, so I'm not going to add any more. And these are just going to cook now until they're crispy. Now, one of the problems with not washing them is that the starch stays on, and when the fries are in such close proximity to each other, when they're going to stick basically because of the starch frying and cooking. It's not such a huge problem because we can just get a knife and fork and sort of separate the fries as they cook. One thing that I do see people doing when they cook fries is they like semi-cook them or like blanch them and then take them out and then crank up the heat even higher and then throw them in like for a final 5 minutes to crisp them. I'm not going to be doing that just because the electric cooker that I'm working with doesn't really get much hotter than this. So I'm just gonna let these sit and cook until they're crispy all the way through. Now some people might say, oh, you're leaving you're letting them sit in the grease for a long time. They're gonna taste super like fatty and greasy and slimy afterwards. A way that we can mitigate that is by draining them on kitchen paper towel. But in my experience, I find that they're not that greasy at the end. But if you cook them at home, you can be the judge. So in the meantime, we're just going to flour our fish fillets so the batter will stick to them. So here I've just got my mix of paprika, cayenne, black pepper, salt, a bit of flavour and a bit of colour. So some people say to season the batter and not the flour, or the flour and not the batter, or do both. I'm just going to do both because that's what I like. So yeah, just going to go into plate. It's just plain flour, like plain normal flour, all-purpose flour. You can use whatever, 00, whole wheat flour, although it's just going to give it like a different sort of texture, a different look. I've seen people use corn flour, which is interesting. I was thinking of doing a blend today of corn flour and plain flour, but I just thought, let me just do the plain flour. It's less ingredients, less things to buy for you guys. So literally, just go like that, flip it, and that's ready now for dredging with the batter. So I'm going to finish up the other ones and I'll show you the batter next. So I forgot to say, it's actually quite important that you dry off your fish just with some paper towel, just so that the flour sticks to it a little bit better. So these three I did dry before, but I'm just showing you here just as a demonstration. Okay, so there's our 4 floured fish fillets onto the batter. So the flour that we just used, I've added it to this bowl. It's probably like a good handful. I don't know how much that is in grams. You can have a guess, whatever. And I'm just going to add some more of the spice mix, just to give it a bit more colour. I'm just going to stir that in. I'm going to crack an egg in. Stir that in a bit. And now, the best part, add the beer. So I'm just going to use half of this can, mainly because I don't need that much batter, and secondly, because I want to drink the rest of the beer. I think the reason people use beer is it has a nice flavour, it has a nice kind of malty, this beer anyway, has a nice malty kind of flavour to it, but also because of the bubbles, the aeration. So you're creating almost like a tempura, so the batter comes out nice and airy. So just whisk this, or stir this, and you'll see it thickens up a little bit. So your batter should end up looking something like this. Should have that consistency. It is better overnight because in time the flour absorbs more of the liquid and it starts to become thicker, and the structural integrity remains after a while. So in true Blue Peter fashion, here is one that I made yesterday. This one's just a bit thicker, has a bit more glue, a bit more hold, a bit more structure. So this is the one we're going to be using today for the fish. So in the meantime, we're just going to check our chips, our fries, and you can sort of feel if they're crispy or not, if there's much resistance on the fork. So to me, it feels like they still need more time. So I'd say they've been frying for maybe 8 minutes so far. So I'm just gonna kind of flip them around a little bit. Obviously, if you've got a deeper pan, a bigger pan, it's easier to do that. Alright, so we'll let them cook for a little bit longer and check on them. Maybe, I don't know, 5 minutes more. Okay, so in true British fashion, fish and chips would not be fish and chips without mushy peas. So these peas are frozen, I just kind of let them defrost at room temp, no biggie. Just gonna reheat them in a pan. Gonna add our little knob of butter. It's gone from a knob into a blob. Don't try this at home, guys, you will burn yourself. You need to be an expert idiot. I'm just gonna add some salt to that. Tiny pinch, nothing big. A little bit of black pepper. And just kind of let that warm through. And then towards the end, we're gonna add some of the mint and squash some of the peas to get it sort of mushy looking. I'm poking around with my fork. To me, these seem sufficiently crispy. Let's just try one. Really hot, so be careful. Yeah, that's good. So I'm gonna drain these, take these out and drain them on a paper towel. Okay, so now that they are out and on a paper towel, I'm just gonna grab another paper towel and just put it on top. And press down and try and absorb as much oil as possible because we want the chips to be crunchy, not soggy. Like the local Sam's or Morley's. You know them ones, man. Soggy, disappointing chips. Dead that, don't want that. So while they're still hot, just gonna go over the top, a tiny bit of salt. Just give them a little toss with your hands. Let's try one. Yum. Okay, so these peas are heated through nicely, nice and buttery. What I'm gonna do now is add a tiny bit of water and just like squash some of the peas down to get them a little bit mushy. Then I'm gonna throw the mint in and take them off the heat. They're done. As you can see, I've added a tiny bit of water and I'm just gonna use the back of a spoon or a fork and I'm just gonna mash some of them. When I was a kid, I think mushy peas really used to like gross me out. But I think as an adult, like I like the textural difference. So as you can see, like they're a lot more mushy now, just from doing this, but there's still some that are intact, so you can kind of tell what it is. And basically I'm just going to take the mint and just tear it with my hands. Put it in that way. Now mint and peas just works. I don't know why, don't ask me why. It's something to do with the flavor compound, the shapes of the chemicals in your mouth. I have no idea, but it just works. If you don't like mint, you don't have to add it, no problem. I'm not adding a lot anyway. Maybe you know, 4 leaves, 5 leaves, small leaves. Yeah, just stir them through. Have a little taste test. See how it tastes. Yeah, to me that's brilliant. So you can just turn the heat off now and let that sit. Okay, so now it comes to the dredging of the fish. So we take our fish that has been floured and we just dunk it in the batter like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So just shake off some of the excess and then we go in to our oil. Always away from you. You don't want the oil splashing back up at you. And what we can do with a spoon, just go over the top with some of that hot oil. And you can see like it's already kind of changing. So guys, we're just gonna fry these now for like, I don't know, 10 minutes, 5 minutes either side. Basically just wanna see some color. It's gonna be a shorter time depending on like how high your heat can go. Mine can't go that high, so I'm gonna have to like flip it now. So this is a nice color, but I want it a bit darker. So I'm gonna let it probably cook for twice as long on both sides. Now this color is way too pale for me. So I'm definitely going to let this cook for a bit longer, just so I can get a nice colour on the batter. So guys, this is the colour that I'm looking for. A lot more golden brown, nice caramelization. This is more reminiscent of the classic kind of chip shop fried cod or something like that. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to take it out and plate up. So same again guys with the fish, just take it out. Take some of the oil off, let it drip, and then place it on some kitchen roll. Just dab some of that oil off, be careful, it's still quite hot, you can burn yourself. Don't be an idiot like me. So even though that we put salt in the flour and in the batter, I am just going to add a tiny bit more on the top. Tiny bit, that's it. Optional, up to you, depends on how unhealthy you want to eat really. Okay guys, so there it is, fish and chips with mushy peas, a little tartar sauce on the side. This I didn't really include in the video because it's not exactly traditional, but the recipe that is. But yeah, here's the finished product. Really nice, really happy with how the fries came out. Super crispy. Wow. For me, this length is what I prefer, kind of the McDonald's style, but if you like the chunkier chips, just cut them chunkier, no problem, just whatever. I'm gonna try some of the peas. Really sweet, adding that butter makes them a bit more creamier, and then the mint, the kind of herbal notes on top just to really round out the flavors. Really nice, really delicious, a great accompaniment for the fish and chips themselves. You could always have like a little side salad, like some lettuce and tomato and onion, but I think that's a little bit boring, you know. I like fish and chips with peas and mint, delicious with butter. If you don't like it, maybe you can sub out the mint, or just try normal peas. You don't have to mush them if it's like a textural thing for you. So let's go in for the fish. Nice and crispy, love it. Let's try this. There's a little cross section. Action. Nice layer of batter. Thin, not too thick, which is fine. When it's too thick, you're having so many carbs, you know, it's just pointless. You've already got carbs on the plate, you don't need carbs here as well, but I think when it's nice and thin like that, really nice. Let's give it a taste test. Really nice. So like I said before, the paprika and the cayenne, it's more for color. They come through in the flavor palette, but it's very subtle. The flavor that comes through the most, that is actually distinguishable, is more so the beer. It survives the frying process. It really has a nice kind of flavor to it. Going for another second go. Yeah, that sort of malty, hoppy, sugary, beery flavor really kind of shines through there, cuts through the grease. Really nice. If you don't like beer, you can always use like soda water or something like that, or lemonade even, any sort of gassy liquid you can use. But like I said, I'd recommend full calorie beer. Really nice. Let's try it all together. Get some of the sauce. Amazing, just amazing. Guys, this recipe does require a bit of work. It's a lot of prepping with the batter, with the fries, chopping them up, but you're just frying everything. and like frozen peas, you know, it's not too difficult. So I would definitely give this one a go. It makes a big difference to having a takeaway from your local chippy. It's a lot cheaper, and you can control the levels of salt, you can control the levels of vinegar, the grease as well. Like you know that what you're frying in is just grease that you've used. It's not being used for like 100 other portions. But yeah, for sure, give it a go. Obviously, can't forget a bit of ketchup. Cannot forget the ketchup. Heinz, baby. Only do Heinz. Oh, mate, you have to give that a go. Alright guys, well, thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Let me know if you tried this recipe, or if you've got any improvements, any variations that you want to recommend me. Let me know in the comments. Take care. Bye bye. So just stir them through. Oh fuck.